Hello Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans, and welcome back to Lightnng Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice as we talk about everything that has happened in the past week for the Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Now this week was overall very light. Not a lot happened this week whatsoever. Doesn't mean we have nothing to talk about, but you know, I don't think anything is happening much this week. Maybe we'll get some stuff next week, but let's go ahead and discuss it and get right on into it. So first up, I'm just going to go ahead and address this right off of the bat. We have an update about Metallic Armor MMPR Pink. So Metallic Armor MMPR Pink was a figure that probably, unless there's something surprise, should be our final release of 2020 for the Lightning Collection, since we are in the final weeks here now that we are actually in December. We're really getting there to finish it up the year. And of course, Metallic Pink was announced back at PulseCon to be out in December. And originally, the pre-orders for her listed that she'd be released this upcoming Monday, December 7th, but that ended up now being pushed. A lot of people who pre-ordered her did get the email that she has been pushed from Monday the 7th until Wednesday the 16th. So, you know, we'll see if that even comes true, because Pulse dates are always changing all over the place and all the time. Of course, she is a Pulse exclusive, so you're just going to have to wait it out on delays, and probably won't be able to get her anywhere else. I can't imagine she is anywhere else. So Hasbro Pulse says that that'll be out on the 16th. Now, of course, you still have time to pre-order her, and I highly recommend that you do so if you want it, or if you ever think that you're going to want it, because Pulse exclusives do not restock very often. We did see that the Putty 2-pack in Psycho Green just restocked finally after 3 months, 4 months almost, for some of them on Black Friday. And I think as of the time of this episode, they also might still be in stock. I'll check and confirm that with like a yes or a no on the screen, you know. But Pulse exclusives just don't stay very long, so I would highly recommend you are able to pre-order them if you can. Of course, I know if you are not in the US or Canada that you have a hard time getting them, and I'm sorry. I know that some people in the international countries never were able to get their hands on Psycho Green. I know some other countries were able to get the Putty 2-pack at least. But hopefully Metallic Pink is not super hard for you to get over there, or there's some other release for you to get over there. We'll just have to see how that pans out. But yes, she has been delayed a little bit, so, you know, 2020's Lightning Collection is going to continue on for just a little bit longer than we thought that it would. So, there is that. Also, speaking of Hasbro Pulse this week, this doesn't really pertain much to anything you can do right now, but they did update their release dates for the Monsters Wave 1 from January 1st, 2021 to December 2nd, 2020. So that was already a couple of days ago. So if people had pre-ordered them back on October 30th on Pulse, some people got their orders charged for Keen Sphinx. I saw a couple people got their orders charged for Pumpkin Wrapper, and Pulse was already going ahead and sending those out. So as of right now on Pulse, they both are listed as sold out, but I would imagine they'll probably come in sometime soon. But yeah, basically they just upped the release date on that. So while Metallic Pink got pushed, they got pushed up. So, you know, it's interesting how all the release dates work on Pulse and everything like that. No word on the Versus packs from Pulse, even though Big Bad Toy Store has had the Versus packs for about 3 weeks or so at this point, and they keep going in and out of stock. So if you have not picked them up in their regular white packaging on Big Bad Toy Store, you might still be able to do that periodically. Just keep checking, and it might come back in stock. If you don't want to wait until January for when Pulse and Amazon will get to the Versus packs, you could do that route. So the monsters in the Versus packs, they're out there. You can get them in a couple of different ways. If you want to get them a little earlier, you can. But that's all we have for the regular stuff. Of course, the Versus and the monsters came out in Spectrum, and Spectrum has been the talk of the town, or really the talk of my Twitter feed for the last couple of days, because it has continued to be nothing less than a complete mess. So let's go ahead and continue to talk about that as we go into the Spectrum talk of the week. Oh my goodness, Spectrum. Spectrum stuff has been a pain. So, we had discussed on Lightnng Storm recently that some people were getting their pre-orders sent to them from Target for their Wave 7 figures, and when they were receiving them, they were receiving the Spectrum versions, which really made a lot of people assume that the Versus and Monsters and the remaining Wave 7 pre-orders from Target's website that were all street dated and listed to come out on December 1st, which was this past Tuesday, would also be the Spectrums. And from as far as I can tell, that is 100% the case. I have yet to see anyone receive the regular white boxes of any of those figures from Target's website. They seem to all be the Spectrum versions. So that's interesting, isn't it? So those listings on Target's website never, ever, ever stated that they would have the Spectrum releases. The barcodes that are in the descriptions of the products are the barcodes that are on the regular boxes. The pictures are of the regular boxes. there is nothing on there at all that stated that they would be the Spectrum ones, and they are the Spectrum ones. So that is it's definitely interesting, and once people caught on to that, pre-orders for everything pretty much sold out nearly instantaneously. Then when the actual orders, like the listings, went live on Tuesday morning, the entire wave was up for a brief period of time, but Mighty Morphin Green and the Z Putty sold out pretty fast. As of right now, on Target's website, you can still buy Mighty Morphin White and Dino Thunder Red, and I would say you're basically guaranteed to get the Spectrum versions of those two. So if you want at least one Spectrum just to have one in your collection, you can get Dino Thunder Red or Mighty Morphin White pretty easily. The Versus and Monsters sets are becoming the hardest of them to find, it seems. I would still keep an eye out and just waiting for all of them to actually go back in stock. That's what I'm waiting for, because I was able to pre-order all of them, but all of them got sent to back order, so I have no indication of when I'm ever going to be able to get them. But I did get the SPD Blue Versus pack in from Target. However, I need to get a replacement from Target because mine is missing the Blast Effect piece for Ace Squad Blue. It's just not there. So that is incredibly unfortunate, especially with how hard the Spectrums are to get. So for me, on my end, it's been incredibly difficult to find the Spectrums. I think I have them all in order at this point, but it's just a complete mess. And I'm really, really hoping that Hasbro never does this again. And also, the Versus packs and the Monsters have still never been announced by Hasbro, which is certainly interesting because they exist, clearly. So I don't know what's going on with the Spectrums. I think they handled this horribly. But at this point, it seems like you can buy them at Target stores without being stopped at the checkouts. At least for the Monsters, I still heard of a couple of problems with the Versus packs, but that couldn't have been sorted out by now as far as I'm aware. So hopefully the Spectrums kind of pop back up on Target's site. Hopefully Hasbro announces those other four soon, and hopefully they never do it again. So I was going to post an unboxing video of the Spectrum Blue pack this week. I'm not opening the sets, but like me taking it out of the Target box. But that ended up going awry when I found out it was missing a piece. So there is going to be a video out on the channel later on this month if I can get that done in time, just kind of to chronicle the ridiculous experience it has been to get the Spectrums, because I think Target and Hasbro are hilariously mishandling this. So there is all of that. And that's all there is for Spectrum stuff. So like I said, you can still get Mighty Morphin White and Dino Thunder Red with relative ease, and hopefully the other ones aren't too horrible later on. If you do want to track down the Spectrum boxes, that is something you can do. And before I leave this segment, I do want to give a little shout out to someone on Twitter who tagged me in their collection of the Spectrums. This comes from Jordan Declote on Twitter, and this is a really cool collection. It's the first one that I had seen this week of someone who was able to get their hands on all 8 Spectrum boxes, and fueled my desire for wanting to complete the sets myself even more, because just look how pretty all 8 of them look together. So shout out to you for tracking all 8 of them down, and good job for actually being able to get your hands on all of them. And hopefully if you want to get all 8 Spectrum boxes, you can do the same as well, and hopefully yours all have all the pieces inside, because you know that's usually pretty beneficial. Alright, and then before we go, the last things to really mention is the fact that what's happening next week. So we've been talking, recently about the possibility of news happening on December 10th. JC from Toy News International was hinting at that and everything. There has not been any more messages from him as far as I'm aware. I was watching his videos and checking his Twitter. I haven't seen anything that points to anything still happening next week, although I don't see why it wouldn't happen. This past week, or yesterday, was a Fan First Friday from Marvel, and so we don't know what the next Fan First Friday is. It certainly could be for Power Rangers. We do have a new listing of something that leaked recently, but it's not Lightning Collection, so that's why I didn't cover it necessarily, but I will briefly mention it. But those retro figures that they showed off at PulseCon, Martian Ranger yesterday, or Thursday on Twitter, found that they are going to be making a retro Ranger Slayer figure to be in Wave 2 alongside MMPR Yellow, White, and Green. So that could be something that they can announce at some kind of Fan First Friday event, but I'm still putting my money on betting that there will be a Wave 8 announcement next week, potentially, if there is. If there's anything next week, I feel like Wave 8 is almost a guarantee. Hopefully they don't do any more Spectrums for that wave, because I don't know if I can take this anymore. But, besides all of that, I am hoping for something to happen for Power Rangers next week. I posted on my Twitter this past week that the entirety of the month of November, I still did Lightning Storm and everything, but there was no official news on anything from Hasbro. It was the first month since June, the first month since the start of Lightning Storm, that there was no Lightning Collection announcements of any official capacity whatsoever. I still brought you news every week because that's what I do here, and there's always something happening in the world of the Lightning collection, but nothing from Hasbro. That were radio silent throughout the month of November, which is fine. They don't always have things to announce, but as we are gearing up to head into 2021, we have no figures announced for the year. There are nothing announced for 2021 yet, and you would think that they want to get their initial slate of stuff out there to be shown off, except for those Dino Fury toys. Those were already shown off for 2021, but for Lightning. So, and the first thing that would probably be up would be Wave 8 in probably March, I would imagine. So, Wave 8, I'm really hoping we see it soon. It will probably leak before the event, I'm guarantee you that. And if it does, I will do some kind of like emergency episode or something. If there even is an event, I'll post about it. But you know, of course, that's all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say this week on the Lightning Storm. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at 2 different places, at Living Ranger Key or at Lightning Fig PR. And if they do announce an event for December 10th or anytime next week, or really anytime at all, you know I will be posting it there as quick as I see it, as fast as I see it. And of course you can catch it there. And if something really major happens, we'll do an emergency episode of Lightning Storm before the typical Saturday ones. But if nothing happens, I guess I will see you next Saturday on Lightning Storm, the series where lightning always strikes twice. And of course, until next time, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We just hit 2,900 subscribers on the channel, and our goal is to try to hit 3K by the end of the year. I think that would be pretty cool. Good luck getting the Spectrums if that's something that you want. Good luck getting all of it, and you know, just let's finish off 2020 pretty cool, and we'll see how it happens in 2021. So, catch you guys later.